Under the harsh fluorescent lights of a grocery store aisle, something extraordinary was about to happen, something that would forever change the lives of a little girl and a man the world had already judged as a monster. The sound of cartwheels echoed through the store, blending with the quiet hum of refrigerators and the faint chatter of shoppers. A rough, tattooed biker, his leather vest patched with the words, "Hell's Angels," walked slowly down the aisle, grabbing a box of cereal. His name was Logan Pierce, a man who had spent most of his life running from his past, bad decisions, broken promises, and a heart that had been shut off from the world. But on that ordinary afternoon, fate had a different plan for him. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and that one act of courage can save a life, make sure to like, share, and subscribe and tell us in the comments where you're watching from, because this story will remind you that heroes sometimes wear leather jackets, not capes. Logan wasn't looking for trouble that day. He was just there to buy food before heading out for a long ride. But as he turned the corner into the cereal aisle, something froze him in his tracks. A little girl, no older than 6, was walking beside a tall man with a snake tattoo curling around his arm. Her tiny hand clung to his, but her eyes were filled with fear. The moment she saw Logan, she didn't blink. She slowly raised her hand, palm open, fingers spread wide, a signal. A rescue signal. Logan had seen that hand sign once before, scrolling late at night through social media, a sign meant to silently ask for help when someone was in danger. For a second, he thought maybe he was mistaken. Maybe she was just waving. But then he saw her trembling lip, the bruises faintly shadowing her wrist, and the way the man's grip tightened as he noticed Logan staring. The biker's pulse quickened. He didn't know this child, didn't know her story, but something deep inside him, something that had long been buried, ignited. Without hesitation, he placed his box of cereal down and started walking toward them. The man with the snake tattoo glared at him, his eyes sharp, his posture stiffening as if preparing for confrontation. The little girl's eyes silently screamed, "Please don't leave." Logan's heavy boots echoed on the floor as he got closer. He gave a faint smile, pretending to be casual. "Hey there, little one," he said softly, his voice low but warm. The man instantly pulled the girl closer, muttering that they were in a hurry. But Logan's instincts screamed liar. He noticed the girl subtly shaking her head no, still holding her hand halfway up, like a lighthouse beacon calling through the fog. He decided to play along. "You dropped something," Logan said to the man, pointing behind them. The man turned instinctively for half a second, and that's when Logan knelt to the girl's level, whispering quietly, "You're safe now." Then he stood tall again, eyes locked on the man, and in one smooth motion, he grabbed his phone and snapped a photo. The man growled, "What the hell are you doing, old man?" Logan's tone shifted, calm, cold, authoritative. "Let's not make a scene, pal. Cops are on their way." He wasn't bluffing. He'd already hit the emergency SOS button on his phone. Within seconds, the man panicked, released the girl's hand, and bolted down the aisle. Logan immediately wrapped his leather jacket around the trembling child and guided her toward the front of the store. Shoppers turned, confused, as the loud hum of sirens began to wail outside. The girl, whose name was Mia, clung to him tightly, her small hands gripping the edges of his jacket as if holding on to the only safe thing in the world. When police arrived, everything happened fast. The man was caught before he could escape the parking lot. It turned out he wasn't her father at all. He had abducted her 2 days earlier from a nearby park, and no one had seen her since. As the officers took her statement, Mia kept looking back at Logan. She didn't cry. She didn't speak much. She just held his hand, as if she knew he'd shown up for a reason. Logan, a man who'd been called every name under the sun, criminal, thug, outcast, felt something break inside him, something he didn't know was still alive. When her real mother arrived, collapsing into tears as she hugged her daughter, Logan turned away, wiping his face with the back of his hand. Before leaving, Mia ran up to him. She reached into his jacket pocket and placed a small toy charm there, a tiny angel. "You're my biker angel," she whispered. Logan didn't know how to respond. He just nodded, smiled faintly, and walked out into the sunlight, his boots echoing softly on the pavement. Days later, local news reported the story of the Hell's Angel who saved a little girl using a silent rescue signal. Overnight, Logan became something he never thought he could be, a hero. But for him, it wasn't about fame. It was about redemption. For the first time in years, he felt peace, as if maybe the road he'd been riding all along had finally led him to something good. Months later, Logan would often stop by that same store, sometimes hoping to see Mia and her mom again. Sometimes he didn't. But every time he rode past that place, he'd touch the tiny angel charm hanging on his bike's keychain, whispering a silent promise, to never ignore another hand raised for help. And somewhere deep down, he knew that day didn't just save Mia's life, it saved his too. If this story touched your heart, if you believe that even the roughest souls can carry the kindest hearts, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Let's spread this message of awareness, because one small signal, one brave act, can change everything. Before you go, tell us in the comments, what would you have done if you saw that little girl raise her hand?